You're listening to
Wrestling to the Max.
Alert. Clear all channels.
This is an exclusive.
How you like that?
And your host, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Leeser.
King of Sport. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
肉を切らせに骨を出す。これが G1。これが G1。これこそ G1。
やってきた。
大熱狂、大興奮。興奮のるつぼはマックスバルテージ。
新日本プロレス真夏の最強戦士決定戦 G1 クライマックス。
Alright, this is Wrestle Max Extra number 21. I have no idea if that's the right number or not. That's also along with our 156 episodes that we just completed on Thursday. This is us reviewing we're going to talk about nights 17 and 18, but this is pretty much us reviewing the finals that happened this morning. And thankfully I'm not alone for this one. I've been doing a lot of them by myself. But I've got Gary here with me.
Yeah, I'm actually on one of these New Japan shows. That's nice. It's been a while.
We don't have Paul with us, as we kind of said on Thursday that Paul may not be here. He's on his way back from where he needed to be, and he didn't get to watch anything. He's obviously, spending time with his friends, so, he had to do what he had to do. But with us today is, we've had him on before doing these New Japan things, and you've heard him if you listen to my Games podcast quite a lot, Mr. Robert Cooper.
Oh, it's great. I'm back on here, and I'm going to ruin the show for absolutely everybody, and it's going to be great.
That does not sound encouraging at all.
And my cat just stepped on the keyboard, so if you're wondering what sounded like somebody tried to attack me, that's what it was.
Oh, that's just wonderful. So, and with us is a special guest that I'm really honored to have on here. He's been a New Japan watcher since 1984.
Jesus.
Tom Reese.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, really appreciate you being on. This is great, to have someone who's been watching New Japan for so long and who has a lot of knowledge. I mean, we usually go by one of our co-hosts, Paul Leeser. He has a lot of knowledge, but man, that's a long time to be watching New Japan. That's great. I'm excited. This is going to be really cool.
All right, man.
I've been watching all the time.
We haven't had you or Robert on here to ask this question, so... they brought in a new format this year. 19 shows over 28 days. Felt like longer than that at times. We've been through the slog. I watched every single match. Of course, obviously reviewing and doing podcasts kind of had to. I know not everybody did. But what did you think of the format? Obviously it might be better for the wrestlers, but as a fan watching, do you prefer the older formats? Do you prefer this one?
No, as a fan, definitely prefer this one.
Yeah, I love this format because I'll tell you, last year, me and my buddies tried to sit down and watch every New Japan show, like every G1 show. We were done by about night 7 because 3-hour shows, that's a lot to kind of put yourself to, when you think about it. The G1 shows they did last year, what'd they do, about 12? That's almost a full WWE pay-per-view schedule in a month. So the way they did it this time, I liked it a lot more because it made it to where I could, like, okay, I just want to watch the G1 matches. That's like an hour and a half for each day. That's not a huge commitment, and it kind of breaks things up. And I think it's probably better for the wrestlers as well because, yeah, they did mostly tag matches on their off nights, and it probably helps with injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what else? If you're a fan and you're watching, the G1 was always like 9 matches every show. 9 singles matches every show, and that's a lot to take in. You think about, like, 2 years ago with 9 shows in 11 days, and last year they split to 3 weeks. 9 matches every show, it's a lot to digest. Like you said, if you don't want to watch the tag matches, don't watch them. Just watch the 4 or 5 G1 matches and move on. But it makes it easier to digest, You're not, like, cramming down all these matches so fast, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it made it to where, I mean, heck, even with the format we've had this time, sometimes you were like, oh shit, what was last last night's card? But it was, I couldn't imagine 9 shows in 11 days? Jesus. That sounds like torture for probably the wrestlers.
Oh yeah, and especially, just going through, and they were basically killing themselves every one of those nights too. There was no having off days with the tag matches or anything like that, or it was like you're trying to outdo the other person that just had this crazy match, and it's just ridiculous,
Yeah, and as a fan, it's like if you had, say, 5 classic matches on one show, God forbid if there were more, and then 2 nights later you're going right back to the same thing, 4 or 5 great matches, really don't get a chance to, like, appreciate it, so to speak, It's like, you're just going right to the next one. You kind of forget about it real quick, and it's not as special.
Oh yeah, not only that, but just the fact that it's just like, it's so for your body, mentally. Like, I tried to watch they had a lot of the 2014 stuff on New Japan World, and I think by the time I got to, like, match 5 of, like, the first night, I was sitting there like, oh my god, I don't know if I can stay awake for, like, 10 matches like this. It's crazy,
It's all becoming a blur after a while.
Oh yeah, I mean, the tag matches became a blur too, but it was something that you could just kind of be like, okay, this is okay to forget, because that's kind of what they are throughout the year anyway. But when you get to these G1 matches, you're like, okay, here's 5 of them. You had your intermission. You can sit down. Some of them are not going to be that great, but you're going to get that 1 or 2 that you're really going to be thinking about when you go into the next night or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm probably thinking that, 19 shows over 28 days, I'm thinking financially it might have been pretty nice for them as well. Well, granted, they have a lot of traveling costs, but it seemed like every one of those arenas was packed.
They weren't sellouts completely for a lot of the early shows.
Mm-hmm.
That they had some trouble selling them out. That's why you saw the dark arenas and stuff like that too.
Oh, is that why we had those horrible, like, night 2 camera work? That
was just them messing up on that one. But
that was the worst. Like, honestly, like, some of those matches from night 2, like Okada versus Elgin, that's one of those I keep holding up. Like, that was a good match, but the camera work on those nights really takes you out of the experience. Like, I feel like I'm watching some dude bootlegging something. It's pretty bad.
Well, that was a single cam show, so I don't know where they're... I mean, there was times where, obviously, the camera doesn't move, so, they would go outside and you don't see them. But they learned after that one that they had to put the camera somewhere else, because there was a lot of times you just couldn't see half of what was going on night 2. But, that's what happens when you have to split things between 2 TV companies, and Samurai TV wants their commentators and wants their stuff, so,
Oh, was it split up like that?
Yeah, the ones where they had the commentary and stuff were the ones that were not on Samurai TV.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe they were just kind of picking and choosing what days they bring what people, like, oh, well, okay, this is going to be an important day. We're going to bring the whole production crew for this one.
Yeah, that's why it was crazy that Kobashi was there that one night.
Oh, yeah.
You know what it is also for the like old time fans, like we used to like get camcorder footage. You know, we watched, and basically we're going back to the old days. We were watching the camcorder footage of some of these shows. You know, these single camera shoots and stuff. So for me, it wasn't that bad because I used to watch a lot of stuff like that. You know, people would sneak a camcorder in and then pass the tape around all over the place, and it was all right.
That's crazy, even with that, huh?
Yeah, newer fans wouldn't. Yeah, so for me, it wasn't bad. It's kind of like old school to me, so.
I guess I'm just showing my age.
So,
all the glossy production.
Well, I mean, they've had these single cam shows since they've had New Japan World a bunch of times already. We've seen them like this. I enjoy it because you get to hear the crowd a lot. And everything, and it's not necessarily, but then when you have the commentary, you realize how much you miss it because they get so crazy with everything and enthused about everything that's going on, and it just brings a lot more to the matches than when you're watching it and you have to rely on yourself and the crowd to tell you how great it is.
Or that one woman in every show to yell Shinsuke over and over and over and over.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so, well, Gary, this being I know you didn't watch a lot of the stuff, but this being your first G1, what do you think about the whole deal?
It's actually my second G1. We covered it last year a little bit. So I think it's really good. So far from what I'm hearing, listening to some of your shows and kind of paying loose attention to the product. I think it's going pretty well. I enjoyed it. I wish I would have got a chance to watch more of it. Just been too busy at this time of the year for me to watch it. But I think it sounds great. And from what I've seen, this G1 Climax, I really enjoyed some of these big matches. I'll have more to talk about when we actually get into it. But to me, this is a great thing. It's overwhelming. I don't know how a lot of people find time to watch this. Sean, my God, it's amazing you were able to get through all of them. It's just so much.
If they weren't at 5 in the morning, I probably wouldn't have been able to watch them because I would have had to been at work or doing something else. So,
my curiosity, and this may be a question for Tom. He knows, he's been watching this for a long time. But it's amazing to me the culture in Japan. Just they love wrestling, but for so long they've been following this tournament, and I guess that's how they keep up with it. They have a lot of wrestling over there, but it's just amazing. The fans are excited every time these shows come on,
Yeah, the tournament aspect gives us something, like you're fighting for a championship, so it's not a title match, but there's the wins and losses mean something, so you're watching something special, you know what I mean? It's like whatever happened tonight carries over into the next night, and the next night, and the next night, and on to the end of the tournament, so it's, when it means something, it's a hell of a lot easier to get into, And it's that sport aspect of it.
Yeah, you're right, and I can see that. It's kind of like when we're talking about the NCAA basketball tournament. Each win matters, and it makes people want to watch it, and that's why ratings go up. And I could definitely see that with the Japanese culture, getting excited, and this matters to them.
Yeah, it's like sports is a game of numbers. So this guy's 2-1, and then this guy 1-2, so he's got to come up with a win, and it makes everything more fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really adds to the sports aspect that a lot of the Japanese companies have going too. One of the things I really like about watching Japanese wrestling is that I feel like, wins and losses matter, and something like this is kind of a testament to that. Like here we have this pretty much like the World Cup of wrestling of singles wrestling for the year, and you want to watch every match just so you can be like, oh, okay, I know who won and who lost and who put in good effort and who was bad luck Fale and whatever.
Ugh.
Still can't believe Gato told him get fatter. I'm like, yeah, because that's something we want to tell our performers. Yeah, you'll look more intimidating if you have a big gut and a small hat.
Yeah, I kind of didn't understand part of that either. Like, he takes away your mobility. Why would you?
Especially with that high flying finisher. Like I said,
Yeah, where he almost fell off the top rope too.
like I said, it's like watching an old man jumping off a diving board and having a heart attack simultaneously.
Ugh.
Hey, Gallows fell off the middle ropes in that one match.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a top rope. He fell off the middle ropes.
All right, so let's talk about some of the stuff here from Night 17. I thought kind of it was sort of, your one-match show, really. You had the nice interaction there with Ibushi beating Makabe has led now to Ibushi coming out and saying he wants that never title shot, and we've seen it in these the tags leading up to it. We saw it especially on today's show where they were going at it after the bell and everything. What do you think about this feud going forward here with Makabe and Ibushi? Certainly much better than getting another Ishii and Makabe. By the time we got to that last Ishii and Makabe, I was kind of like, okay, I hope they're done now.
For Ishii's health. Yeah, just for his health, which we'll get to Ishii in a few. Gosh, that he's a treasure. I'm excited for it because Kota Ibushi is by far one of my favorite guys that New Japan has. On one hand, I feel like maybe he's starting to get kind of a personality because he was kind of just the flippy guy. Which, to be fair, when you have the body work that he does, being the flippy guy is okay. But notice he started to have more of a fire to him, and that's really exciting. Him with Makabe, I think, is going to work well. Funny thing, I used to think Makabe and Ishii were very much the same wrestler, and after watching about 9 of their matches in a very short span, I kind of realized I was wrong, because Makabe is just kind of there for me. He's got a few good. He works stiff, and with the right people, he can make good matches. But he's more of the brawling type. I don't think he has as much technical skill as he just does have King Kong knee drop, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I'm excited to see what matches they can pull out. It should be pretty exciting.
What do you think, Tom?
On the Ibushi flippy guy thing, I see where you're coming from. But what? Go on New Japan World, and there's a video of him working out. And I swear to God, he barbell curling almost 300 pounds.
Jesus.
No joke. He works his way up to 2-something, and then I lost count, but he was literally curling a god-awful amount of weight. He's strong. There's no other way around it. That guy is freaking strong.
Oh, yeah.
I don't come across like that, but
I saw a match. It was him and I think Daisuke Arata and DDT versus 3 jobbers and Shinsuke Nakamura, which was a comedian who was just dressed as Shinsuke. Ibushi actually did a last ride on the comedian in literal slow motion. Like, he lowered that guy down an inch at a time. And I was like, he is pretty much lifting and setting down a grown-ass man.
Damn.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
I mean, that said, the guy is very smooth in what he does, and it's just, he's working strong style now, and it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and then, the other match to me besides the main event that was kind of interesting was Naito and Tenzan, because Naito kept spitting on Tenzan, and Tenzan was having none of it. He kept, he headbutted out of that Puma Blanco, and then he choked him out just like he did Shibata. And do you think this is Tenzan's last G1, Tom? I mean, it seemed like he was sort of breaking down at the beginning, but then he kind of revitalized at the end there.
I think it is his last one because just to go out with a bang like that with the wins over Shibata and they were actually really good matches too. Mostly the all brawls and stuff, but the finishes of both of those matches were great. especially the Shibata one when Cork and Hall just came unglued when Shibata passed out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was awesome. You know.
Robert?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's his last one. I know he's been around for a while. Maybe he's going to hang up the hair dye and the mullet for a while. I don't know. But he had a lot better matches than I thought he would. Last year, not going to lie, every time I saw his match coming up, I kind of groaned. Because sometimes it seems that he just kind of floats through a match. Like he's just... What is the way Larry Zonka on 411 puts it? Zombie tins on? Yeah, he kind of...
What it is, though, it's like when he has somebody in there that can carry it for him, so to speak, make it look good. You know?
He puts in the extra effort.
Like his match with AJ was great.
Well, yeah, I think it's just like just like it was just said there. When he's got a guy with him that'll help carry the match, I think he puts in the extra effort to make the match good.
You know what's funny is that he came in the same young line class as Nakanishi and Kojima, and Kojima looks so much more different than those two. He's certainly much more mobile.
Gosh. Yeah. But yeah, Kojima, I never think that he's that old. But really, yeah, he is. Jeez.
Yeah, him and Nagata just both ageless wonders, man.
Yeah, Nagata is really impressive. What they say, he's 47? Jeez.
Yeah, I love how he had that shirt, the ageless Nagata or whatever.
Yeah, it's really impressive. Nakanishi, I didn't even know who he was for the longest time. I had to look him up. I'm like, oh, okay. He's kind of like one of the... Because actually, funny thing, a lot of my Japanese wrestling experience comes from looking into a lot of the old 90s All Japan wrestling. So I'm really... Until I started watching the G1 last year, I had no clue, like, anything from New Japan. Well, besides, like your occasional person, like, oh, I know who Antonio Inoki is. Ho-ho.
Right. Hey, at least you started in a good place.
Well, yeah, it's better than some companies. Like, God forbid I tried to start AAA last week.
Oh, don't get us started on that. Again, we went 40 minutes talking about how bad that Triple Mania was.
Like I said, I went from watching Okada Nakamura to Los Villanos versus the Psycho Circus.
Go on, God.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Why did you guys put yourself through that torture?
Oh, I wanted to make my friends suffer. They're like, Coop, why are we watching this? And I'm just sitting there cackling. I'm just like, this is amazing. This is the worst. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Gary was sitting there going, man, this is horrible.
I'm terrified of clowns, man, Robert, so I couldn't handle more than 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, like, one of the clowns I was impressed because he had a Gamma Bomb shirt, and they're a pretty good band, but I was like, oh, cool Gamma Bomb shirt. Oh, this match sucks. And then I was like, oh, yeah, that one guy had a stroke. That one guy's retired. The other one's really old. This is great. Just watching some of those spots, it's like they were doing it in super slow motion. They didn't even have to use the effects. And
I don't remember them even doing spots, honestly.
And they probably wouldn't need effects considering the budget they had.
Oh, don't get me started on that show. We'll be here 30 minutes talking about how bad that thing was.
Oh, God.
I felt bad for Court Bauer doing an 8-minute podcast just apologizing vehemently about everything. And it was really out of his hands. Anyway, obviously the highlight of that show, AJ versus Tanahashi. They've wrestled before, but this was just amazing.
This is the best one yet. Hands down, this was their best match together yet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love the fact that Tanahashi just is able to use that dragon screw to his advantage and can just put that on when he wants to slow things down and make it about, okay, you're going to have to deal with it, and I appreciated Styles kind of hitting him back with all the leg work, and then him doing Tana doing the Styles Clash was just awesome. Like, nobody kicks out of that move except AJ.
Yeah, and then AJ went right to the frog splash, and Tanahashi kicked out of that. I mean, right after that, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, by that point, I was coming unglued. This match was just off the charts.
Yeah, it was. Did you get to watch it, Robert?
I'm actually that's the next match I have to watch. I've been getting through night 16, and tomorrow I'm probably going to go zip through 17 because I am so excited for that match. There's so many. There's like I think each show has at least one good match per night, which makes it kind of all worth it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean this one, 15 was the first one, was the only one I think I remember that just everything was sort of okay, you know, and then good or whatever. There was nothing like outstanding, but then you had this match, you had the Shibata and Tanahashi, which was just a wrestling clinic for about 20 minutes, you know, just great stuff. I mean, so, you know, we got through that night. Let's get through 18 really quick here. Michael Elgin, who everybody, well, I mean, not me, because I don't really have a whole lot of experience with Michael Elgin, but there's a ton of people on the internet that were just absolutely shitting on Michael Elgin being in, saying, oh, Roderick Strong, oh, this guy, oh, that guy, anybody but Elgin. And Michael Elgin has owned this G1, and no more was it shown than in his match with Tomohiro Ishii in here. 14 minutes of them just beating the piss out of each other, and Ishii selling for all he freaking could. Ishii ends up winning, but my lord, that was amazing.
I'm not sure how much he was selling compared to how much he was really hurting in that match after that power bomb on the floor, man. That was insane.
Yeah, it kind of hurt me. I didn't. Yeah, speaking of Elgin, I had never seen Elgin. The only thing I'd ever seen from Elgin was comments on the websites like, oh man, Elgin kind of sucks. So I was a little worried because I was like, oh okay. And then the first thing I ever saw from him was him versus Okada, and I didn't know anything. They had me convinced that he could have maybe pulled it off against Okada, but I was immediately made a fan after that match. And maybe in Ring of Honor he kind of just got bored, but geez, like they should just keep him in Japan a little longer. He has had an incredible G1. I've loved every one of his matches, and him and Ishii had an insane G1. Like I said, I used to think Makabe and Ishii were kind of similar guys, but I really feel like Ishii he blends more with the other wrestlers. Like he had his match with Goto was absolutely fantastic. His match with Okada was really good. There wasn't a bad match he had, and I feel like Elgin did the same. That was one of my at least top 10 matches of the G1. It was nuts. Loved it.
Yeah, Gary, I know
Michael Elgin, man, he hit a home run in this tournament. He made himself a superstar. He just, like someone, whoever just said, everybody was shitting on him the whole time leading up to the tournament, and he went out there and proved everybody wrong. He was incredible. Yeah, the crowd really took to him as well. Watching, I think it was at night 16, him versus Goto, they were actually chanting for Elgin at the beginning of the match.
They were chanting for Elgin almost through the entire match. You would have thought Goto was just some guy.
Yeah, he's pretty much like their number 2 champion, and they're kind of treating him like a chump, which, I feel bad for Goto. He's a really talented wrestler, but I love that.
Yeah, Goto's another one, too, that he didn't start off very strong because he didn't have the greatest opponents.
No.
But as the thing built, he just kept firing away, having great match after great match. And again, I think there's a lot of people that are kind of down on Goto, or, because he's always had that whole, always the bridesmaid, never the bride kind of thing, as Paul always says on here. But he has definitely proven that he's earned that, having that title.
Yeah, he is definitely, he's a really good champion so far. I'm loving a lot of his matches. But didn't you say, what was it, last night? Because I didn't really catch some of the stuff with Delirious, because I was kind of watching the finals in a hurry because I need to get back home. But didn't you say, when they said Elgin's name, the crowd popped really hard? They were cheering, and then they said Red Drag. He said Red Dragon, and the crowd's like, yeah, it was the Kingdom, and the crowd was just like, nothing.
I think, to be fair, also, they don't know them as the Kingdom. They know them as their names separately.
See, I'm not gonna lie. All the matches they've kind of had with the Bullet Club, I've just been kind of like, "Hey, the camera guy is focusing on Maria. That's nice."
Well, and they've had Carl Anderson focusing on Maria, and it makes it really annoying.
Really creepy. And when we get to Carl, like I love Carl. Carl's awesome. Why did they do this to Carl?
What did you? Yes, I mean, like that. I like that. Goto and Nagata had to follow, and I thought they put on a pretty impressive match for what they had to go through. Of having to deal with the crowd being insane for Elgin and Ishii, and now it's Nagata can challenge Goto for that IC title, even though he's going to go to Noah and be a Maybach with Nakanishi for a while. But poor guy.
I thought that match was a sleeper tonight. I thought that match was incredible because, like you said, they had to follow Ishii, and it started slow because the crowd, was just so, burned out from the Ishii match. But I'll tell you what, by the end of that match, because I don't think anybody expected Nagata to win. But then when it looked like he was going to win, and then, he started nailing all the suplexes and the kicks and stuff, it was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I agree as well. The match started a little slow. At least the crowd reaction was kind of slow because, as you said, they were getting kind of warmed back up. After having such a really high quality match, they were kind of just like, okay, well, let's kind of warm up to this other match. And Nagata and Goto, great. Nagata had a really good G1, and you would never guess he is his age. You would never guess that he was in WCW NWO Revenge. Which is really, it always befuddled me because I was like, I never figured out what his finisher was. But he's had a lot of really good matches, and I hope he comes back for next year. I know he's probably getting kind of up there, but that dude can still go, and that's really impressive when you consider some of the WWE wrestlers that are that age. I mean, look at poor old Undertaker. I'm surprised he doesn't walk.
He said his goal. Yeah, he said his goal was to challenge for the title when he's 50. So he'll be around a while.
Keep going. I believe in him. I'll cheer.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess we have to get to it. Okada and Nakamura, what a match that was! Just amazing stuff from those two. I mean, I think it was comparable to their match in the G1 final last year. Maybe not as good, but man, it certainly was right there with it. I mean, I enjoyed the hell out of that match. Nakamura winning with the arm breaker the way he did too. Just awesome stuff. What'd you think, Tom?
I thought it was incredible. I hate to compare matches that guy did, previous year or previous month, because you always feel like you're shortchanging it. You say one was better than the other. But the last, 10 minutes or so of that match was just absolutely incredible. And then when he went for the armbar, he went right into the gogoplata, and then when he rolled Okada over and flattened him out for the submission, I mean, it was just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that match was nuts. But before I get to that match, I'm still pissed that Hanma lost to Yujiro Takahashi, of all people.
God.
Best part about Yujiro Takahashi is his valet. He's like Mark Romero with none of the talent.
Yeah, which Mao was not there today.
Oh, yeah, Chairman Mao wasn't there, but the woman they got for this evening, sweet Jesus Christ on a cracker. Every one of us at my buddy Nick's house was we're like, whew, damn.
Still not as bad as the stripper they had for that one night. She had no idea what the hell she was doing.
Yeah, the blonde one, she looked really uncomfortable, and it was really not sexy because I was like, I felt really bad.
And the freaking camera was all up in her business. I mean, they were just filming, waiting for something to maybe pop out of there or something. I don't know. It was just bad. We have not. I mean, if you're watching that as an outsider or something, and you don't know if that's kind of been a trend. You're sitting there looking and going, man, I guess our society has not progressed at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, man, usually I'm like, all right, here comes Yujiro Takahashi and his incredibly hot harem of valets. For that one, I was like, man, did they kind of not have anybody around this time? Ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah, going from there, Nakamura Okada, wow. I was blown away by this match. I like how they kept using Shinsuke's arm breaker. I like how they built that up very much like they built up AJ's calf crusher as a legitimate finisher. I feel like that's something that's almost missing in wrestling because, you know, when they hit a move, like, you're always like, well, that's not the finisher. It's not going to finish the match. That's why it's really good, you know, multiple finishers kind of adds to some of the drama. And I think it really kind of helped bolster the suspense in the finals for the next night. But that was just an incredible match. Still kind of bummed that Okada lost, and I always wonder, why do they put the champion? I know why they put the champion in there, but what if Okada won? Does it just become like free for all then, or what?
He picks who he, you know. For one, whoever he loses to, they have a program with him.
Yeah.
And then, you know, whoever if he beats everybody that he's already beaten in the G1, then I guess he would have to choose. Right, Tom? Is that how it works? Or?
We don't know because it hasn't happened like since, I guess, I don't know, 95 or the champion won.
Yeah, since Muda.
Let's just say Okada won the whole thing. He would have had one loss, and that one loss went to Goto.
Yeah, that was a really surprising loss. Like, I know Goto always gets his like 2 or 3 big wins, but we were all sitting around like, whoa, Okada lost? Because, you know, it's not a usual thing for the champion to be pinned in any time in New Japan, at least by what I've seen. But that was really.
Goto's been saying for a while he wanted to unify the belts or whatever, so it kind of made sense. I mean, I didn't know they would go with the program. I thought they'd just keep him talking about it, but cool they did.
See, I miss kind of that stuff because I don't read things, and my Japanese is, well, a little non-existent.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but that, like, I love, the one thing I love about the G1 is, like, we've been getting Match of the Year candidates on almost a nightly basis at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, people complained about this. There's a lot of people that do not like this format. And, you know, they complain about the tag matches and, there's a bunch of stuff that feels like it doesn't matter, and some of these block matches aren't good, and whatever. It was like, well, you know what? At least you get 1 or 2 that are really good. And like we mentioned before, you actually get to think about them and know they're there instead of like, there's these 10 matches. Well,
yeah. Like, all those block matches aren't good. The block matches wouldn't be good no matter what format you're in. It's not the format that's the problem there. It's just the people you have in the ring.
Yeah, it's just easier for you to forget about them when you have like 5 of them that are great.
And usually the bad matches, you get through those really quickly. Like, there's only a few wrestlers in each block that I kind of dreaded coming to the ring. But at the same time, that negative sort of expectation ends up being a positive when they do bring out like a good match. Like AJ Styles, Bad Luck Fale, that match was really different, and it was kind of fun actually because it had those two kind of having a little battle of egos, and it did a lot more brawling
than
than usual.
The Western story with them, with the whole Bullet Club thing and all that too.
Yeah, I loved how like how the other Bullet Club members kept like jumping in there and be like, hey, don't hit him with the chair.
And then Styles winning with the feet on the ropes and stuff, that's something you never see in New Japan, so it's different.
Yeah, like I like the Western aspects that they bring to the table sometimes. There's other times where they really make me grumpy, like it was, what was it? It was one of the matches, I think it was with Nagata, was it? Or was it maybe Hanma? It was I think Cody Hall's giant useless self pulled the referee out from the out of the ring. Yeah,
that was Fale with Tana, where he pulled him out and you didn't even see it. You just see the referee stop counting, all of a sudden you see Tanahashi get pulled out. You're like, well, what the hell? And then you see Cody Hall, and it's like, damn it.
Yeah, no, I think this one was Yujiro Takahashi, maybe. Because I think it was Takahashi, because I was pissed.
Oh,
So I was
well,
like,
yeah, he had that one with Okada where he just came in the ring and just beat him up, too.
like I was like, this sucks. I mean, I was like, Jesus, these referees, like, there's nothing they can do.
Oh, God, don't even get, how about Naito just destroying Red Shoes every time?
I love Troll Naito. Him versus Yano, was it a good match? No. Was it entertaining me greatly? Yes. Yeah, and every time Yano gets in the ring, I kind of feel for the ref because he's going to get grabbed.
Yeah, that was sad.
And somebody's going to get kicked in the balls. Which on one day they had a preview for the Chaos DVD, and I admit that I sat and watched that entire thing,
Me too.
Not knowing what was
fun.
going on, but wishing that somebody would translate it for me.
You didn't even need translation. I figured most of it out. It was just fun just to watch a lot of that happening, and it was.
Did you see the extended? Did you see the extended trailer for that DVD during the intermission? I think last Sunday. They showed 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, that's
that
what
was. You don't need a translator. It was awesome. I'm like,
oh, yeah.
I gotta get that.
Yeah, I was watching it. And I'm like, that was actually the trailer I was just talking about. I was incredibly amused. Yano is a national treasure.
Between that and Liger pinning wrestlers while they were asleep,
that was wonderful. Especially because Tanahashi kicked out at 1 and Hanma didn't kick out at all, even though he was already awake. Yeah. LOL, Tanahashi wins.
All right, so let's finally get to these finals. I'm going to start with, some of the earlier stuff is really not a big deal to discuss. I will say this, if you watch the tags, what do you think about this, Tom? Because you've seen a lot of this. This group of young lions, where do you think they rank when you're thinking of the young lions of the past or whatever? It's just, I really have enjoyed this group of, Finley, Yohei,
Jay White is going to be a superstar. Jay White has it. I think that guy, he built like Finn Balor, Prince Devitt, so he's kind of similar that way, but he has it. It's just a matter of time. And Tanaka, I love Tanaka and Komatsu. Those guys are awesome. And Finley, I don't know if you guys watch the Super Juniors, but his first few matches in the Super Juniors, you could tell he was kind of like tentative and, he's kind of like trying to feel his way out. And now he's in there. He's clicking on all cylinders with everybody. Those guys are good. All four of them, Tanaka, Komatsu, Finley, and White.
Matches.
Yeah, watching that opening tag, I had not seen Komatsu or Tanaka for a little while, and I was like, wow. I forgot how crisp those guys are. And Jay White, who we have an in-joke, we call him Local Karate Kid, just because Jay White sounds like a really generic name to us. And there was some news story, and the local news Local Karate Kid does it all. So anytime we see him on the screen, we're just like, Local Karate Kid helps ailing wrestler to the back. Every time, but he seems like he's got a lot of talent, and I'm excited to see where Dave Finley goes. Even though he has that generic creator wrestler tattoo on his back.
Yeah, but you can see things from his dad too. He does that Finley role pretty well.
He does. I think he's definitely got the better wrestling genes out of the two kids. Him and Hornswoggle.
I don't know if you guys noticed it, but Finley and Jay White on Friday during that Styles Tanahashi match, they were going absolutely ape shit out there during that match. I don't know if they just lost themselves and just got so entranced in the match that they just became fans, and they were going nuts.
Yeah, that was cool to see. You don't see them do that a lot. I think you even saw Komatsu do it a little bit too. Just them being fans, being out there and watching the match and getting lost in it. That's what it felt like to me. Like we all were, really.
Yeah, this was the weekend to get lost in it.
I can't wait to watch this match now. Like, 'cause I saw somebody commenting, like, "Man, those guys, they were like going crazy," and I love that.
I think it's right when he does the Styles Clash. You can see them front and center, and when AJ kicks out, you see them jump, and they're like, they have this like crazy look on their face. Like it's awesome. It sells the thing for you.
Wrestlers are just like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Best seat in the house.
Do what?
They had the best seat in the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I love all four of those young guys. They're going to be good.
Gary, what do you think about the young guys?
Just in general, or is that what we're speaking of?
Yeah. What do you think about the young? I mean, Jay White and Finley and all that.
I think these guys are, really coming up and doing a good job. I mean, I'm enjoying them. I really am. And, I mean, it's hard to really say anything bad about them because, they're definitely learning. They're guys that have lots of energy. I'm looking forward to seeing more from them. I honestly haven't got a chance to sit there and watch these guys a whole lot. I've seen limited things about them. I've seen more of Cody Hall than anything or anyone.
You got to give Cody Hall credit, though. He has improved so much.
Yeah, he has.
When he was there at first. I mean, you can't all be like Jay White where he hits it from the word go. Mm-hmm. Cody Hall needed some grooming, and he has definitely gotten it down a lot better now than he used to be.
He's really good at holding that flag. Like every time we'd be like, "Oh, here comes the Bullet Club. Oh, where's Cody Hall? Oh, there he is. That big old tree." Though, is it just me, or is it always just kind of? I mean, it's not surprising, but it's almost eye rolling when the kid steals the dad's old gimmick. Like you're like, oh look.
He does it a lot less now than he used to. I remember when he first came out, I forgot which show it was. Was it Dontaku? I think we let him watch that. He came out with, or one of the house shows, full regalia of outsider Scott Hall. I was like, oh, come on, man.
I think that's the last time I really paid attention to him. Was it Dontaku? He wasn't wearing the, I don't think he wore the vest, but yeah, he had like the tights, he did the taunts, he was going to even hit the Razor's Edge, and I was like, come on, bro. But yeah,
just a gimmick. Get your own image, Don't copy the Hall name. Create your own image. You're a big dude. You got a good look.
Yeah. I mean, you have to imagine Triple H is watching him.
Oh yeah.
Waiting for him to get any good so he can call him to NXT.
Yeah. So NXT, I've been missing NXT, and though I've kind of come to the conclusion that a lot of people were saying once a lot of the those polished, indie guys leave, it's going to start feeling like developmental again.
You're not missing a whole lot. There's a lot of squash, and then one or two good matches or whatever.
I read the results, and if there's something that looks entertaining, I'll watch it.
Well, speaking of something entertaining, Michael Elgin and Yoshihashi, he got his going away, making sure I look good match, and boy did he ever. Yoshihashi also earned himself this match after he won so many of the damn tag matches. I felt like I was just watching a Yoshihashi, like a loose explosion on everyone going on, watching these tag matches. But, yeah, I mean, I know you didn't get to see this one, Gary, but what did you guys think? I thought Elgin looked good, and I thought Yoshihashi got some nice moments in there, too.
That one chop that Elgin did on Yoshihashi hurt my hand. The one where he chopped him, and then he was just shaking his hand out for the next, 10 seconds. I was like, oh, man. Though it's really good to see Yoshihashi doing a singles match. I know he gets, 2 of those a year, because otherwise, it's either him or Captain New Japan eating a pin.
Him and Tama Tonga need to go on a program. They couldn't stop winning tag matches on this tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tama Tonga, the old turd burglar, as we call him.
Tama Tonga's, he should have been here in the G1 instead of Yujiro.
Yujiro Takahashi, I feel bad for hating on a guy that I don't really know personally or watch too many of his matches for fun, but That guy, if he goes past 10 minutes, I'm like, oh God. And I think the crowd does the same thing.
And the crowd doesn't care about his offense at all.
Like it was
quiet.
him and Goto, and he had about 70% of the offense, and that crowd was dead. You would have thought somebody got murdered in the middle of the match because the crowd did not care about him at all. And I'd like to see more of Tama Tonga because I don't feel like I've really seen a whole lot of him because usually I'm not paying attention because Bullet Club multi-man matches kind of get
they get tedious.
They do, and I'm not gonna lie. There are some like I've come to love Carl Anderson, and of course AJ, and even some of the other members have their moments. I am tired of the Bullet Club. Like when they won all the titles back a few months ago, I was like, oh God.
That really pissed me off
Why?
because they had so many of the. It almost made Wrestle Kingdom feel irrelevant.
It did.
The way that they had them just win all the titles back in Osaka.
I didn't understand that, especially I didn't understand Goto and Shibata breaking up so fast, considering they had a really nice story going and everything. Like they were old friends and stuff.
Shibata's first title and all that stuff. I mean, what did you think about that, Tom? Like just.
I think the Bullet Club is so damn watered down now from what it was maybe when it started, with Devitt and Fale and Anderson. I mean, you take Styles and Anderson, and if you want a bodyguard Fale, that's fine. Take the rest of them out.
Yeah.
I mean, just
do the rest
pointless.
of them? The rest of them are like the NWOB team. Like they really are.
They're the red, they're the red and black of the NWO, just the hangers on, so to speak.
Yeah, we've noticed. Like you've got, you got your A team. That's like Gallows, Anderson, Young Bucks, and then you'll notice you always have that 6-man B team match with Fale, Tonga, and Yujiro. Just like you always get those three together.
Or Cody Hall, or
like it's pretty much. That's kind of their thing.
When the Bullet Club has their own young boy, you have to start wondering.
They do.
Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't even notice that.
They call him that too. They BC Youngboy on the announcement, and it's just like, okay, the group is way too big at this point.
If I never see Doc Gallows in a New Japan ring again,
God.
I'm gonna be pretty happy.
Gary, what do you think about Doc Gallows? Does he entertain you at all? Because he is just, woo.
Well, I mean, if you're going by your guys' reaction, I mean, man, y'all are pretty rough on that guy. Golly, I don't know. I don't think he's ever been just that entertaining. I mean, he serves a purpose, just to get in there and throw guys around. He really has never had a reputation for being just a super entertaining guy. I mean, I think that's why the WWE decided not to keep him around. He just doesn't have it. But within the Bullet Club, it makes sense. I mean, he's just a muscle. That's all they need from him. I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what it is? He's a giant wearing face paint in 2015 doing Kevin Nash mannerisms. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the only things I like about him. Again, just like Tama Tonga, I like to call him the turd burglar.
I hate the face paint's so bad though. It's so bad.
I call him Headbanger Doc because if you ever notice the days when he's not wrestling, he's just got like the headbanger thing with the triangles at the eyes that kind of fade that kind of bleed down. And actually, the most entertaining thing about him is when I'm at my friend's house, he has a few replica belts that he's won, or title belts he's won in karate tournaments. So I like to grab the titles and swing them around just like he does.
That's what pisses me off too. It's like, man, you're swinging around the belt like it's your cock, and it's just
it is really a little
just horrible.
He's doing the NWO Kevin Nash goofy stuff, and it's not the right place to be doing it.
Yeah, and then he calls out CM Punk at the beginning of one of the matches too. Like it's just,
I missed really? That. One of my friends like, "Did you hear that, Coop?" No, he's like, before one of the matches, he's like, "Yeah, this is real wrestling, Phil Brooks." I'm like,
at least when Matt did it to Cornette, that one kind of made more sense. But
What did Matt do to Cornette?
he held up the belt and he's like, "Oh, not bad for a bunch of spot monkeys." Cornette or whatever.
I love Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette's an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Cornette's so like past it at this point.
Yeah, but Gallows, I don't know if he still is, but he was friends with CM Punk for years, and so maybe that's just a joking thing. It's like, hey, check this out. Watch, I'm going to get a joke on Phil,
Yeah, it might be.
Maybe. I don't know. I can't tell if CM Punk is legitimately happy with his life or just as miserable as he always sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Well, and then he got in that big fight with that one wrestler on Twitter, and then the guy went to the Ireland newspaper and frickin' just plastered him.
Oh well, we'll see what happens when he finally fights in the cage, in like 2019.
Yeah. Well, so we kind of went off the beaten path there, but the one undercard tag match besides the one they kind of shove in the middle there that I thought was interesting was, and we kind of covered a lot of it already with the Shibata. It was Goto and Shibata and Ibushi against Naito, Makabe, and Hanma. And I really love this because of the fact that Shibata looked like he just wanted to kill Naito.
I thought he was. I was like, this man is getting arrested for murder after this show.
Murder by just staring at someone.
Like, I know his gimmick is almost laughable at times because you're like, oh, look, he's so serious. But I love how his character is almost like just pissed off at how lackadaisical Naito is. And I love this new character from Naito, even though I was really disappointed he didn't come in the full regalia for this match.
Well, he does it for the tag matches. He always comes in the Mike Myers getup for the...
Is that what it is? I always just call him White Trash Naito.
I just look at it as that's Wayne's World Naito. I mean, it's almost exact.
Wayne's World Naito. That's pretty good, actually. I'll have to remember that one. But yeah, I know they're probably building to a program between those two, and I'm really excited for that because, well, Naito's actually... He's gotten some personality because kind of like Ibushi, I said, the flippy guy. That's kind of what Naito had going on. He just had, like, the frills and the eye thing. Yeah. And he could do flippy things, and he was really good at it. That
comes from Mexico, the eye thing.
Yeah, wasn't it because, I think I read about this, because I do read some, because they said his eyes...
Mexican fans would tell him he needed to open his eyes.
Because your eyes are too small.
Because, they're racist. So
well. Yeah, so that makes sense. I think that's kind of funny, and I like how he still keeps some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited because his...
I'm excited when they get... They're going to bring those guys up here. Or up to New Japan, supposedly. So.
Ooh, if they work as well as Mascara Dorada. Ho ho.
Yeah, I mean, it would add some teams to the tag league or whatever when we get to that, so...
Well, because they have 3 tag teams in the entire division at this point. I gotta say, I love New Japan, but their tag divisions are pretty sorry. Just in terms of...
I will say, though...
In terms of bodies.
The tag that we got right before the final, that is the best the Kingdom... Look what happens when the Kingdom are actually out there wrestling and we're not sitting there focused on Carl Anderson chasing Maria around. That match was actually good.
Oh, was
I actually kind of wanted to see them go at it again, which I never wanted to see after the one at Dominion.
Oh, really? Yeah, we skipped that match because it was either that or the Hanma match. And, like I told you, we do a round of high fives every time Hanma hits a headbutt. So, like, we are legitimate fanboys for that old man with the voice of the gates of hell. Ugh, English.
So, what do you think of the Naito thing, Tom?
I love the Naito gimmick. Because he just, you know what it is? Like, he does his character, and in the beginning of the match, it's sometimes hard to take because just all the stall. But I think everybody's learned to play into it now. So now you got Shibata, who's just going to literally, eventually he's just going to kick his ass, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But Naito needed something. Like you say, he was just a pretty boy, I don't know, he wasn't really connecting, but I love this gimmick. I love that 6-man. It was great today.
Yeah, it was a really fun 6-man. I found myself enjoying it quite a bit. You had
Even the stuff with the stuff with Ibushi and Makabe was like even better today than it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was really good. Though in that last tag match, I have to say,
I loved Goto like setting Naito up on a platter for Shibata too. It was
was great. Yeah, that
nice.
That last tag match, I just couldn't remember. Yano beating Fale with the turnbuckle pad made me laugh out loud, literally.
Oh boy!
Anything with Yano is entertaining.
Yeah. If I don't, I love Yano, but if Fale and Yano's a program,
no,
yeah, okay.
no,
you know what? You know what? It'll be on the undercard, and those matches are going to be like 5-6 minutes, and it's just going to be Yano being Yano. So, a bad Yano match is at least somewhat entertaining.
Right.
I think during the G1 we actually found one that was just like, oh god, not even Yano can save this. So I think it was Yano Makabe, maybe. I think that match.
Yeah, the first one that was on the first night. It wasn't that good.
It was. I was like, oh god, because usually like we always enjoy Yano's shtick. Like the lot of us, we're sitting around like every time he kicks a guy in the balls and goes for the roll up, we're just like, all right, 1, 2. That's why when he beat Tanahashi during the New Japan Cup. New Japan Cup, we like all just like jumped up. We're like, oh my god, he actually won because it's Yano.
And then the best part is him like Tana being on commentary and Yano just standing there and pointing at him.
And just laughing. They need to sell more of his shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees. I want that one he was wearing when he did commentary. There's the frog shrugging on it.
Yeah.
That amuses me. But yeah, back to the 6-man before. Wasn't that the last 6-man before the intermission?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was a really solid tag match. I know you were calling it 6-man Tag Mania, and I think it worked. It ended up being a nice little match before intermission, before we cleanse the palate.
Right. All right, so let's get to these matches that I know Gary did watch. So, I mean, I'm not saying it. The guy got home, I think, like, right at 10, and I was praying that Tom could stay up because I was like, man, I can't have Gary come on and he doesn't at least watch, like, the last 3 or 4 or whatever. So, your IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Titles, Red Dragon against the Young Bucks. These guys have had a lot of matches together. Many of them being the multi-man variety. This was an actual tag match, which is actually nice to see when you're having a title match. These guys have been very protected. They've only lost, I think, twice. They've only lost once and then took the pin one other time in one of those multi-man tags. They've been really, really protected by New Japan, so they like them. That's why I had predicted them getting the titles back. Now, I don't have a problem with it if Red Dragon's going to be the team that actually carries the division now, because the Young Bucks, they kind of go up and down and around, and so does Red Dragon, but I think that they're the team that the crowd responds to. They like them, and I said New Japan likes them, so I really enjoyed this match. This was really good. I mean, it wasn't anything. I think they've had better matches in total, but this was really, they had some great stuff in here with the tag moves, and then just I actually didn't mind the Cody Hall taking Kyle O'Reilly away, because it kind of let Bobby Fish kind of do things on his own, and then O'Reilly got to come back to this big ovation, and New Japan loves him thanks to him being in the final of the Super Juniors and all that. But I really enjoyed this. Gary, what did you think about this?
I thought it was good. I mean, I enjoyed it pretty well. I mean, just getting a chance to check it out. I mean, I thought it was pretty solid. Now, let's see here. We're talking about the tag match, right? Because I got a little lost. You were talking about
the tag title match.
Yeah, that was one that I really, okay. I was kind of concerned at the beginning because I really felt like, okay, we're going to get the same old thing and kind of slow. And yeah, at first it wasn't anything high pace or anything, but I really enjoyed it. Really ramped up towards the end, and it got more and more exciting. So I was a really big fan of Kyle O'Reilly. Once again, this guy is probably going to be on that list of superstars of the year for me. At this point, I mean, he impresses me every time I see him in the ring. He's getting better and better.
He's so smooth.
Oh man, exactly. It's a science, and he's figured it out. The rest of these guys, you know, they're doing their thing, and it's fine. But I just was really, really impressed with his work in this match, and I thought it was a great ending, though, to the match. You know, the way they were able, you know, to handle their business. So I liked it.
Tom, what do you think about this? The titles just switching hands all like this, and what do you think about the match?
I like this match because, like you said, the beginning was just same old, and it's not that it's bad, but we've seen it so many times. But it really picked up, especially when O'Reilly came back. O'Reilly is just awesome. And I thought it turned into like one of the better tag matches that they've had all year for that junior title, that is. I mean, O'Reilly, I just love that guy. I really do.
Yeah, what I've seen of Kyle O'Reilly, I really like what he does. I was amused greatly when Cody Hall stole Kyle O'Reilly and ran away with him. I was like, what is he doing? Is he actually stealing him?
That's some old school, like, they were doing a bunch of old school shit, like the whole with the eye poke and all that stuff. Was just appreciated it.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to bring in Western gimmicks, why not, you know, why not go old school, you know? But
I don't know why they have a Bullet Club Betty Boop shirt, but, you know.
I think they need to bring back the Ether, personally. Call up old Cordy, have him book a few matches for him. Oh, somebody's going to win via chloroform.
Oh, no.
Hey, that wouldn't be the worst thing I've ever seen in wrestling. I mean, it'd be up there, but yeah, it'd be bad. But yeah, the match started just like you guys said. It kind of was just one of those, oh, look, another Young Bucks Red Dragon match. But it really picked up once O'Reilly got back. It was a lot of fun. I like them teasing, them trying to kill Red Dragon with what was that, the Meltzer? Is that the Indie Taker is what they call it? Which one's the Meltzer driver?
It's the same thing, just
with a 450.
Some people don't like that Meltzer has a name.
I thought the Meltzer driver had a 450 on it.
No, that's more bang for your buck.
Oh, yeah, I thought, okay. Alright, because yeah, I thought Meltzer was the tombstone to the 450 as the part that spikes it rather than a splash. But, I don't know. Indie Taker. Oh, aren't they clever? Yeah, the Meltzer driver.
I like the fact that the announcer says it too.
Yeah, Meltzer driver. I'm sure Dave Meltzer is just honored to have, you know, his name attached to. I'm sure wrestlers that he's like, okay, they're nice. I like them. Yeah, overall good match. I hope Red Dragon keeps the titles for more than a month. I was getting kind of annoyed by that because I was like, come on, New Japan, I expect better out of you guys, you know, instead of hot-shotting titles every few months because we can.
Right. So, moving on to our IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match. Kushida in his first title defense since winning the belt at Best of Super Juniors against Ricochet. Now, Gary, you have never seen Ricochet without the Prince Puma mask on.
Oh, really?
Much different guy, isn't he?
Yes, he is, and it's just a little bit weird for me because I've never seen him without the mask. But man, I mean, still the work rate never stops, mask or no mask, and I just thoroughly enjoyed this. The flippies, I don't know what you call that. What do you call that when you do the rolling? I don't know.
He rolled over his back, and then he
did it over like 3 times, if I'm not wrong on
Wasn't
that.
that like like a rolling Northern Light? That's not
Yeah.
Oh, the Northern Lights into the into a brainbuster. Yeah.
It was just great overall. I mean, I love these guys. Both these guys are amazing. And of course, Kushida getting the victory is not a problem with me at all, but I'm a huge Ricochet fan, and I think this was an excellent match. I was fairly impressed.
And then that freaking dive he does to the outside, he
Oof.
jumps from almost the middle of the ring and freaking clears the pole and goes, it's just, oh.
Yeah, but you know what? Honestly, you say that, and you're just like, wow, but these guys, they got it in them, and just once again, they just prove how great they are.
Tom, what'd you think?
I love this match. You know what's great about it? It's like Ricochet Dragon Gate style, where bing, bang, boom, bing, bang, boom. Where Kushida, those are high flying, those are real fast stuff, but he mixes in all the, strong style, like the submissions and all that, and he combines it all just to make great matches, and I thought this was great. And if you notice, when he did that dive over the guardrail, you can really tell in the replay, he probably jumped way too early, because when he went over the guardrail, he had to use his hands to push himself. Usually he clears that thing and just does the flip. And that's why he's like, oh shit, and, put his hand on the guardrail, push himself to make sure he got over it. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and then when Kushida did his, Ricochet did not grab him. He grabbed his legs and forgot the rest of his body.
Oh God! Ow! That hurts me.
He didn't, Kushida didn't smack against the floor or anything, but I'm sure that did not feel good.
Yeah, comparing this, really,
he landed right on his upper shoulder, and that looked like it hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to kind of look back at their the Best of Super Juniors final last year.
I think the crowd wasn't as good for this as it was for that one.
Yeah, that crowd was nuts, and also you didn't have the Alex Shelley showing up like in the last one. Kind of, to play landing pad there. But this match, I was thoroughly impressed with this. It actually felt like a different match, really. There was a lot more the hands, kind of like the handspring reversals, the counters, and there was not a dull moment in this match at all. There was every single second I felt like was utilized to further the match along, and it was really entertaining. I hope Ricochet stays around. For some reason, I don't think he will, but I really hope he does.
They did say that they pointed at each other and said 1-1, so they're probably going to have another.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh. Please do this, because he's awesome. I've noticed Kushida is a really impressive wrestler. I know usually he's kind of stuck at the early card tag matches for some reason, but he's great. And I've noticed some of the stuff that I've watched from, when I caught one of his matches on the Ring of Honor TV show, I was like, wow, his style translates really well to the American style as well. I can't wait to see more of him.
He is, when people talk about the best wrestlers around right now, he kind of gets lost in the shuffle, but he's up there with the best of them. He is just so good.
Oh, I totally agree. And that also comes from, being trained in Canada and all that stuff, too. He wasn't trained in, he got trained in different styles. So that's why he can mix he got trained in Canada, he got trained in Mexico. So that's why his styles are able to mix around. He's different wrestlers and everything. So
I'd like to see more of him and Alex Shelley too. If Alex Shelley can stay healthy for more than 6 minutes.
Yeah, well, we'll see him at the. I'm going to see if they pull that Field of Honor show gets put on demand pretty quick, because I want to see that, and they're going to team together.
Good.
The Briscoes.
Mm.
Kushida had a great match with Roderick Strong last time they were in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That match was just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, totally agree. And then the one that Roddy has with Tanahashi, too, that was...
Oh, the next night, yeah.
Yeah, so moving this, you get the last 6-man here we got to talk about between Bullet Club, your IWGP Tag Champions, Gallows and Anderson, and AJ against the Kingdom. I love the fact that Maria Kanellis is the only valet that gets her name said like she's a wrestler in the match, even though she's not. And this was the best Kingdom match I think we've ever seen, other than that 10-man that they had on one of the house shows, which is amazing. But the Kingdom actually looked switched on for this. They were into it. They were vital parts of the match. I wanted to see a Bullet Club versus Kingdom match where you have the one moment where Carl Anderson is sitting there oogling Maria, and then he turns and makes AJ do it too, which is funny. And then Gallows comes in and tells him, hey, I've seen this before. You know what we're doing here. Don't stop. And I don't know. I just really enjoy this. And the stuff with Okada and AJ at the end. My God. All the reversals from the Rainmaker and all that stuff. Just amazing. What did you think, Gary?
This was a lot of fun, too. This is another great match. And, AJ Styles is one of the top dogs. We all know that. And, of course, Okada is, too. So you're just kind of curious how they're going to get involved with each other, and plus these guys tagging with them. Overall, just to kind of keep it, short and sweet for you guys, I just, I thought it was a good match. Of course, with the ending, once again, that's what I love. When they say climax for this show, they just do a great job of finishing out these matches. I mean, once again, I'm very impressed. You thought it was going to go one way, then ended up going the other. It didn't take long for AJ Styles to get the upper hand. And I think the Bullet Club, despite the fact that, some people, of course, don't want to see him win, they did another good job. They found a way to win. So I was impressed.
What do you think, Tom?
AJ and Okada just doesn't get any better than that. They started the match, they finished the match, and I don't know what it is for those two, but when they're in the ring together, it's almost like Flair Steamboat. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but just the way they just chill. Everything they do, it's just freaking awesome. And you knew when he hit the Styles Clash, that was it, because nobody kicks out of that. I love how New Japan doesn't prostitute their moves. When somebody hits it, that's it. Done.
Oh, and the high fly flow.
To be fair, those moves are not, And that's what's so weird though is the Vomi thing started happening this year. It wasn't like that before.
It took 2 to take Yujiro Takahashi down.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
2 and a landslide, actually. So 3 finishers. That's bad. Yeah, I actually had skipped this match just for time because I wasn't sure what time we were starting this, but I wanted to get home by midnight. So we opted to watch Hanma and stuff instead of another Bullet Club match. So I'm probably going to have to go back and watch this just, so I can complete the collection of matches for the evening and say, yeah, I watched everything. I'm really excited to see some more of AJ Okada. Those guys have great chemistry. Love them. I'm sure they're going to be doing some sort of program since, if I'm not mistaken, AJ pinned Okada. So, usually...
AJ also has the rematch that he never had.
Do they do that in New Japan quite as much?
I don't think they do, though. They don't do that, right, Tom? They don't do automatic rematches?
What do you mean?
They don't do what you see in WWE where they're you were the champion, you lost, you automatically get a rematch. They don't do that, right?
Not per se, but I guess it's kind of like what happened today. You got to kind of get a reason for the rematch, and today's Styles got the reason for the rematch,
Yeah. Well,
champion and tag.
That's a little different. I always feel like the automatic rematch clause is just a lazy excuse for them to drag out a feud by another month.
Oh yeah, that's what that is. It's the same thing with that 30-day rule. It's a trope they can use whenever they feel like, so they can.
That 30-day rule amuses me because when Daniel Bryan hurts himself, they're like, all right, take it back. When Ryback hurts himself, they're like, we can wait.
Right. So we get to this final.
Oh.
Well, first I should note that. What do you think, Tom, about Tenryu's on his retirement tour? He wants to have his final match in New Japan with Okada at Power Struggle. What do you think about this?
I don't know Japanese, but when Tenru came out and Gedo got in the ring, I mean, you could just tell what they were saying. It was actually, that was entertaining, even though I don't know a word of Japanese, but...
Yeah, freaking. Well, you know, when Geto cuts a promo, it's like he always. It sounds like he's angry about something. Like.
It's because he can't see.
And then,
He's got that
and then
man
Kendler
down.
put his hand down like Gator, the short guy, you know, get out of my way. And it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then when Okada got in there, you know, he walked right up to him, and Okada had that look on his face like, really? You think you can beat me?
Yeah.
You know, it's like that smirk on his face. So it's like,
Yeah. It's like
Kendler's
you're talking to a
65 years
legend
old,
right
man. I
there.
don't know. I think
know,
on
yeah.
some, it translated somewhere what they actually said to each other, and it's actually a pretty good little exchange. Where Okada says something like, you know, you're lucky I wasn't around in your prime because you would have never survived, or something like that.
Yeah.
That's clever.
He also tells him that he'll take the match, but he's not responsible for what's going to happen to him.
Oh yeah, Gato said, you know, he's not only going to beat you, but he's going to end your life. I was like, whoa.
Jesus.
Wow.
65-year-old, I don't know if I'd be saying that.
Yeah.
Gato. Brave words coming from a man who can't even see through his bandana.
So before
Gato's
we,
awesome.
yeah, true.
I love
So
Gato.
before we get to the final, we get Mr. August, Masahiro Chono coming out, and Kijimuto as well. Great Muda, if you don't know him by his other name. They come out to do commentary. The crowd goes nuts here. Pretty cool moment to see both of them. I did like the fact that the commentary kind of made a little joke there with Muto, like, well, you know, remember that 91 where Chono beat you? He's like, oh, yeah. Like, it's just, gotta rub it in. But, yeah, then we get this final, and oh my god, this match, jeez. Talk about just building and building. Tanahashi works the leg to nullify the Boma Yi. You get the Boma Ye. I don't know which way you're saying it here, but Tanahashi continues that thing with the Dragon Screw. He's got that locked down. Nakamura working the arm there, so when he does the arm breaker, it's convincing, and just knees and knees and more knees, and does all kinds of Boma Ye's, and he can't get him down. Tanahashi has to do 3 high fly flows with different manners, and he wins. I know a lot of people are upset that Nakamura didn't win. I had Nakamura winning. Tom had Nakamura winning. I think everybody in the freaking world had Nakamura winning. But you gotta admit, there's a story here with Tanahashi and Okada at the Dome. Okada's 0-2 against him at the Dome. In order to pass the torch, you gotta have Okada win there at Wrestle Kingdom, which is on a Monday this year. So, Gary, we're not going to be reviewing Raw. We're going to be reviewing Wrestle Kingdom 10 on that Monday. So, but, what'd you think, Gary? This match was freaking amazing. 5 stars, all that stuff.
Yeah, it was. I mean, how much can you really say? But it was that excellent, and it was just very, just very nail biting. You just at the edge of your seat. All those terminologies are appropriate for this because when you get towards the end, you're really not sure how it's going to go. In the end, you just get a great match. These guys have to be worn out from this match, but they put on a wonderful show, and it's definitely the right match for the end of the G1 tournament. So, for me personally, I just got to give it to him, and congratulations to Tanahashi. I mean, just an excellent job.
Tom, what'd you think?
Tanahashi is the greatest, period. This match, everybody always talk about what match were the best, match of the year candidate this, match of the year candidate that. This match might top every match of the year for like the last 3 or 4 years, maybe longer. There are just no words to describe it. And, how we all thought Nakamura was winning, but it's still built great, and then Tanahashi hits the splash, but Nakamura kicks out. Nobody kicks out of that. He hit it again, and then, when Nakamura was like hanging on the rope, nailed him with it. And I think he kicked out again before he nailed him on the back with it and then turned him over and nailed him on the front with it. And it was incredible. I mean, the drama toward the end, the people just, it was incredible. Definitely the greatest G1 final match ever, period.
Yeah, agree on that one. You saw the Nakamura ladies crying there in the front row and everything.
It made my heart hurt for them just a little.
What'd you
that's the whole beauty of it. Those people were like so entrenched into that match. I mean, me and my buddy were going nuts, just like, I mean, it was almost like we were in sumo hall, you know. Freaking, it was incredible.
Yeah, I found the match to be a really good match. I told John before the show, I'm like, I need to rewatch it. I wasn't fully paying attention to some of the beginning parts, and I kept getting distracted randomly, so I was like, okay, I need to rewatch this, because it was a great match, but I knew I was missing parts and pieces. But I unfortunately had the ending spoiled to me, because I decided to go look at a wrestling site yesterday. Yeah, 411 likes to put up pictures, though. Like, it was a picture of fucking Tanahashi with the trophy and everything. I'm like, Jesus Christ, guys! I know it's a sport that's predetermined, but cut me some slack.
Yeah. They're assuming if you're reading the results.
Well, I wasn't even reading the results. It was a picture. I was just looking at the site. I was mad. I was pissed. I mean, I know if you're reading the results you have, but you have pretty much like, all right, here's the guy who won it. And when I'm looking at, I don't know, like random, like the box office report. That made me salty. But yeah, so I already knew who was going to win. But my buddy Nick, I felt bad for him. Like, he was like, as soon as Nakamura lost, he's like, all right, who's ready to go to Waffle House? Because he was like, I don't see any reason why Tanahashi has to win again. I'm like, I think there should be some good matches in there. He's like, still, Nakamura, this is Nakamura's year. But then again, Nakamura, I think Nakamura's kind of phoned in a lot of his matches this G1.
Well, yeah, his arm hurt and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. He's still my favorite though.
I like him, but I really, really think that he needs to change out of those red tights. He's got to get rid of those pants, whatever you want to call it. I just, to me, I always think of Great Khali every time I see him. He needs to change.
So you're saying, you
do.
want him to be the reincarnation of Punjabi Playboy?
Yeah, there you go.
Come out with Ranjan Singh and everything.
He just needs to change.
You know what, though? How lucky are those fans in Sumo Hall to get 3 straight main events like that?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That's insane.
Especially of that quality. Like, you know, imagine if WWE did that. Like, oh, here's 3 main events at MSG. Would we necessarily get that quality? No.
No, we might get 1.
I think we get maybe like 1.5.
Yeah, like, it's amazing. I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, if you're like me and a lot of people like you watch all these matches, and you're going, man, they can't top this. They can't top that, you know. And it's just, God, they keep topping themselves. It's just, it's like, crazy.
Like, I thought Tanahashi Ibushi was gonna like be my top, like, because that match was really good. But at the end of it, I'm like, oh, I'll still like gush about that match. But you know, you have Hanmei Ishii, Goto Ishii, like everybody else with Ishii. Like, you know, all these Ishii, it's like all these great matches, and I'm gonna have to go through sometime, like when I create my matches of the year list or something. I'm gonna have to go through all the G1 matches, because I know there's like, with so many good matches, you're bound to forget one of them. And I don't want that to happen. I mean, I guess
it's almost not fair.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Year lists, because there's so many just from this one tournament, and it's just like, try to find something else that's gonna.
And you want to, like, okay, well, WWE had a few good matches, right? Like, you know, I'm trying to think. What do we have? We have Owen Cena. I think we got Cena Cesaro from Raw, and then we have Owens, Cesaro, Owens, Rollins, Cena, and Lesnar. That's about it. I don't even know if any of those matches were as good as some of these finals matches.
Yeah, but we also got to grade that on a different thing, I think.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, hey,
you know what?
What? What do I know?
You know what? Talking about talking about, you spread the shows out this year and you had like 5 matches each show and it's easier to watch. If you took all the G1 matches this year and put them in to just whatever it is, 9 or 10, 11 shows, to where all the matches are all single matches, all the shows, you have as good a tournament as last year, I think.
Oh yeah. I think so.
I mean, it's going to be hard. I mean, last year was the best tournament ever on anything ever. I mean, just
right, which is why it's hard to compare it. But everybody was negative going in because of the setup. But looking back on it now, there was enough great matches where if you spread it out over 11 shows, you could really come up with something spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just didn't have them.
I'm glad they did it this way. Yeah, I'm glad they did it this way.
Yeah, I guess I just don't see people's complaints. Like, you're getting more wrestling on more days.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? The thing is, like, for me, it felt like the World Cup of wrestling.
Bingo. There you go. That's exactly how to put it.
That's what it is. Like, the World Cup does this, where you have a bunch of games, and then they take a couple days off or whatever when they get to the group stage or not the final stage. Then they take, as they get further along, they take more days off, whatever. And that's kind of what this felt like. It was weird that they took 3 days off at the beginning. That's the one I think they gotta fix for next year. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, other than them being worried about the gate for a lot of the early shows or whatever, that because they didn't have a big punch, some of the shows didn't sell well or whatnot. But other than that,
they were smaller. They were smaller venues though, so it's not like they're going to get like 10,000 people. So
yeah, but I think if you put that out, which apparently, like for last year, Ghetto was playing around with doing them all in domes, which probably that was probably going to be a bad idea. It's just, I think this allowed them to, like we've said, you remember the nights more now.
Yeah. And more
last year you would have said, oh, this happened? But I don't remember what day it happened on.
I needed a day off after Hamda beat Ishii for his first G1 win. I needed a day off after that.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch anything after that.
Yeah.
That was history right there.
And you wouldn't get that on those, 10-match finals either. You wouldn't get a moment like that because there's no way in hell they're going to put that as the final match for something that's like 10 matches long.
Right.
You'd be leading with, your heavy hitters.
That would have been in the middle, and you would have forgot about it by the time you got to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't have had the impact.
So, yeah, so I'm glad we all like the format. So you're saying it's equal to last year, Tom?
If you take just the G1 matches themselves and put them together, there are some bad ones in there, but somewhere along the way, I'm sure there was a bad match last year. But on a whole, even though, granted, it's not last year, it's pretty damn good.
Right. So that,
and actually, it'll be hard to top next year. It'll be hard to top next year, especially after the 3 nights in Sumo Hall.
Oh yeah. Well, some of the nights in Kurikan too. I mean,
when they hit Tokyo, this thing just went right off the charts. I thought.
Mm-hmm. Agreed on that one. All right. So that being said, we got to sit here and try to come up with top 5 performers and top 5 matches. Also, like, who do you think? I mean, for me, I think Elgin was obviously the surprise. I don't think we can really dispute that one. But I think for me, I don't know. I mean, there's so many different times where I would have said, okay, Ibushi from the beginning. But to me, the most consistent throughout the entire thing, I don't know that he had one bad match. Tanahashi completely and utterly destroyed the thought of, oh, he's losing it. This is going to show that Tanahashi's down. Like, what Eric says in the Japanese group that we're all in. that everybody kept saying, oh, Tanahashi's going down. Well, he proved that he is certainly not. And he had so many great matches, pulled really good matches out of Fale and Tenzon. I mean, just...
And Gallows.
Yeah, Gallows. Oh, Lord. That's a
That's
treasure.
saying a lot.
Right there. Yeah. What do you think, Tom?
I think Tanahashi won. And then after that, you can, like, no particular order, just go. Even Yuji Nagata and Carl Anderson, I thought, had a really good tournament. You know, maybe not like at the level of the top guys, but they had really good tournaments. And I know I'm forgetting somebody. Ibushi in the beginning. But I would say after Tanahashi, it's Ishii, Elgin, just for the sheer surprise of it. And Nagata, Anderson, Goto, maybe?
I would say Tanahashi, AJ, who's also...
AJ, you know what? There you go. Yeah, AJ, then put Ishii number 3 for me, and then after that, you can just pick a number of guys. Elgin has to be in the top 5 just because he was the surprise story of the tournament.
I'd put Elgin at number 5. I think Goto, the way he came in or came back through the back end, I think he earned him a number 4 spot. But I definitely agree with your top 3. And it's I mean, if Ibushi hadn't just dropped off, I think he would have been in that conversation. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about that? Like the way they had Shibata and Ibushi and Naito, all 3 of them kind of got off to a hot start. Naito got eliminated the night before the end. Shibata kind of he did his usual, like, where he doesn't make it there. What do you think? Was it a time to kind of pull something new with one of them?
I really would have liked if they did something like that, because if you look at the title, like the 2 big title pictures, you kind of have the same people kind of roaming around it. And it would have been nice to have somebody new at least.
What do you think, Tom?
I only disagree with 2 results, really, the whole tournament, and that was when Ibushi lost to Fale. I thought that was pointless.
Oh, that made me mad.
And why, for the life of me, Hamna had to lose to Yujiro on Saturday after getting the big win?
Yeah,
I couldn't figure that out, you know. And then Naito, he had to lose somewhere. I mean, he lost to Gallo, but he had to lose somewhere in order to get Tanahashi and AJ to that final spot there.
Did you like the fact that they made it pretty simple? I mean, here's the thing, too. I didn't even think about this until I listened to somebody else say it, that you also have to think about the crowd that's there. If you make this so complicated that for them, when somebody wins at the end, the main event, they don't know for sure that guy is the one going to the final. They don't know how to react in the match. So,
because if you remember, going into Saturday, that situation could have happened. But then once Goto dropped, Anderson dropped, you know what, we're just going straight to the last match, and that's it, you know. Simple works.
Yeah, true. All right, Robert, what's your top 5 wrestlers?
Well, top 5. Let's see. You gotta go Tanahashi 1. I'd go number 2 would probably be AJ. Number 3, Ishii. Number 4, Elgin, and number 5, headbutt guy, of course, Tomoaki Hanma. When you think about it, did Hanma have a bad match? I can't really think of any.
Other than the Yujiro match at the end.
Well, that was more result than actual match. That result was garbage. But all of his matches were really good. And I feel like it's because the way Hanma is. You know he's not going to win. But what if he does? And he always gets you to believe that maybe, just maybe, this is his night. And he always works a style that works with anybody. I think it's because he always kind of works the lower card. He always works the lower card, so he has a lot of experience with a lot of different people and different styles. And it really works. But yeah, he's I think I'd give him like number 5. Maybe him and Elgin can switch around, but every time, even though I'm a huge mark for Hanma, like anytime he showed up, I was at least confident that we were going to get something good.
All right, matches. Obviously, the final number 1 for everybody. We're not disputing that.
Yeah.
But then your 2 through 5. Shoot. I think
maybe
I
AJ
like
Tanahashi number 2, and then Tanahashi and Bushi number 3, maybe, or number 3 would be Nakamura and Okada. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I had, is Tana and AJ at number 2, Okada, Nakamura at 3. Elgin and Ishii I have at 4. And then, either Tanahashi and Ibushi or, Goto and
there's so
Ishii
many
is
there.
also awesome.
Goto Ishii, I was just going to say that. Goto Ishii, Hanma. And, even in the second tier, you go to like Nagata and Okada. I mean, that was an incredible match. And
yeah.
Tanahashi, Naito.
See, I've not actually seen Ishii, Hanma, or AJ and Tanahashi, so I can't put those yet, even though I totally could, even if I haven't seen them and just BS it. But, number 1, finals match. Number 2, I'd probably give to Okada Nakamura. Number 3, just because it really set us off really well, Ibushi Tanahashi. Definitely love that match. Number 4, I'm going to give Goto Ishii, and number 5, Tanahashi and Shibata. That match was nuts.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I will never forget Tanahashi charging the corner and Ishii stomping his face to the ground. That was brutal and wonderful and made me happy inside.
All right. Well, I think. So when you think back at this G1, what's going to be your most memorable? What are you going to remember the most from it? Tom, what do you think?
The final match, number 1, and number 2, Hanma beating Ishii. My 2 favorite moments, my 2 favorite things.
Yeah, I'll give. I think I'd go with that. Granted, I've not seen that match, and actually, I wouldn't know that result. But I was browsing Facebook, and I was like, when Sean was like, "Oh, good job, Hanma," I'm like, "Damn it, I've not seen that match yet." And that was that morning. But I was like, you know what, whatever. I didn't mind. I was just so excited because wasn't that Hanma's first singles win in like 6 years?
No, in like 17 months. But yeah, it's just.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the last he beat. It was a young lion or something, right? Tom, the last person he beat.
He beat Komatsu. I read in March of last year or 2013.
Yeah,
I'm like,
last
holy
year,
smoke!
Oh,
it's his first ever G1 win because he's only been in the G1 twice, and he was only in last year because Ibushi was hurt. So
I mean, really, I feel like Hanma really got made last year by the G1. Yeah, he lost every match, but I don't know how over he was before, but I think he's one of the most over people they have.
That match with Ishii and Sendai just completely put him there. Like, he wasn't coming down after that.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. And I think the other one, just another really memorable moment, was Tanahashi lost to Ibushi. That was just really cool because I have a real love for Ibushi, especially watching his DDT stuff. Like my friends and I sat around the television and watched the campground death match. I don't know.
Tanahashi won that match.
Did he win that match? I thought.
Yeah, Ibushi beat AJ.
Okay.
That was the big Ibushi win because AJ beat him at New Japan Cup.
Okay.
Or the Taku or whatever.
Okay. Well, see, I didn't. It's not that memorable, obviously, but when Ibushi won. By the way, that campground death match is amazing. It's an hour, and it's hilarious because they start shooting Roman candles at one another while using umbrellas as shields. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's and there's another.
I gotta send Gary like a bunch of their just crazy matches.
Oh, the silence match is my favorite. It's Nozawa and I think Muscle Sasaki. It is lost via fart. I will tell you that.
You will never see wrestling the same, Gary, once you watch some
yeah.
of the. You'll go, what the hell? You can do this in wrestling?
Yeah. Actually, that campground death match, they get to the bathroom stalls. Ibushi goes ahead and uses one of them. And the other one of the wrestlers gets his face put in there, and they flush it, and then he gets the toilet brush and starts scrubbing, puts it in the guy's pants and starts scrubbing. Wow. Like, yeah. Oh, it's impressive in just, like, the to it. Like, it feels like an hour. You're like, Jesus Christ. But it is just absolutely hilarious. They had a silence match. I think they had an office death match before. They have one wrestler whose gimmick is that he thinks every time his music comes on, he dances, and he has these glasses that when he puts them on, his music comes on.
Everybody puts them on, and they start dancing.
And there was a match. It was a 6-man tag match, and it ended via dance party.
Wow!
And it made my day.
Anyway,
and Kota Ibushi came from DDT. Yeah,
wow.
He's pretty much
Kenny Omega.
Sounds like Grado needs to join DDT.
Yeah, and then if you watch Kota Ibushi wrestle a blow-up doll, it was one of the greatest matches you'll ever see.
It is a testament to how athletic Kota Ibushi is. Yeah, Kenny Omega. He never responds to my tweets. I tweet him every once in a while, telling him that he looks like Hip Winger, because he does. I don't know if he's ever amused by that, but yeah, I like his comedy work. But I have to say, his junior heavyweight title run was kind of meh. Even though I'll never forget his entrance.
The match with Kushida, though, to end it, that was awesome.
The entrance to that match will forever be ingrained in my memory, where he had the broom and he was just marching with it, sweeping along.
Yeah, that was great.
It's so funny with the Young Bucks behind him, like trotting around with garbage cans. Oh, it's so good. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, Ibushi. Yeah, I forgot. I thought he beat Tanahashi. Yeah, he beat AJ. I just remember he got a huge win, and I was really excited because I was thinking, hey, maybe he won the New Japan Cup. Maybe this is his year. Maybe they're pushing their new import really hard, but I guess not. Which is really disappointing because, like I said, when you think about it, kind of the same people have been floating around the title picture for a while. I think the last new person, wasn't it Naito in Wrestle Kingdom 8?
Yeah.
And we saw how well that went, man. It went so well that it got demoted from the top spot. So yeah, I don't know. We get some new blood in there. Maybe we'll get a old lackadaisical Naito in there, the ungovernable one.
That's gonna be fun to see where they go with that.
Oh yeah, they have a different gimmick, which a lot of the Japanese gimmicks are like guy who really, really wants to win match.
Yeah, which ass kicker guy.
Yeah, I've started thinking, I'm like, faces are bland, but I was like, I love Misawa. What's Misawa's gimmick? He elbows people, and he doesn't like children.
Anyway, yeah, for me, just the whole, like, this is the first time I've actually watched G1 from the beginning to end. Being up on Twitter, and actually now I have like a contingent of friends that I've made on Twitter from just live tweeting every day, and it helps also getting extra people to listen to the podcast or whatever, but it's just cool. Like, now every time there's a New Japan thing, I know they're going to be there and we can all converse about things that are going on and whatever, and just going through that for me is special. And then also just the final everything with It's a cool story now for Tanahashi. From the beginning, main event to the end, he rocked it. And now let's see. I really think that now they can tell a big story with Nakamura for next year too. Because I'm assuming Okada's going to win, and then that's when you start the story with Nakamura, and you just have that play out. You can have that play out for the whole rest of the year, especially if they want to, bring Chaos down with it or whatever too. But that'd be really sad if Chaos goes down before the Bullet Club goes down. But,
yeah, I was wondering, is Chaos just like New Japan's version of the Clique?
Yeah, what is that, Tom? Like, to you, what is Chaos?
Like, they're factions, but they're not like, with the exception of people like Tanahashi, almost everybody's like in a faction or in a group, so to speak. Like, how do you describe it?
Yeah, because they don't care if they wrestle each other, right? It's not like Bullet Club where they don't want to wrestle each other.
Yeah. And they don't all seem to be.
And
like
when it does happen, it's rare, but it happens, Because like if you watch the New Japan on Access, I think one of the translations they were doing after the Okada Nakamura match, Norgata was saying, how Chaos is the best, because it's the best against the best, Again, playing off that sport aspect of it. So it's not like we can't fight because we're buddies,
Yeah.
Because they happen to be on the same team or something,
I got you.
It's a weird dynamic.
Because some of them, they don't all seem to be, the same sort of alignment, too. So I'm pretty sure Yano's a heel. Even though he's, troll heel. He's still a heel. And,
and they that's what I appreciate, too, is that they kind of, depending on what's needed for the match, who they're wrestling, they change what they're doing, Like Okada has no problem going heel if he knows he's getting booed and whatever.
I felt like Tanahashi was doing a little bit of heel this time.
Oh Tanahashi did it too. He did it against Ibushi. It was totally fine.
Makabe and
I noticed against Makabe. I definitely noticed against Makabe. I'm like, are they trying to do something, or is it just
he was getting a little bit of the Cena treatment. Like there was a little bit of, seemed like a lot of the matches he had to win them over, and then when he was doing the air guitar, everybody was all about like, "Oh, Tanahashi's the greatest," and that's what they chant when he's doing the air guitar. But
I do the air guitar with him.
That is, it looks so stupid. If you think about it, it looks so dumb. But just watching him, do that, it's just like how you imagine how all these grown people think that's awesome, Just.
Well, even dumber is the way Shinsuke walks in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
I think him and Jeff Hardy should have, a dance-off on the way to the ring sometime.
Speaking of Jeff Hardy, I just happened to, turn on... I was like, okay, I'm going to go back a little bit, watch Wrestle Kingdom 9. There's that has a bunch of TNA stuff on it.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so, RVD's wrestling Yano, and they,
who can
finger point better match.
That amuses me. Wasn't it Jeff Hardy and Naito?
Yeah, Jeff Hardy was freaking loaded.
Yeah, what did I read? I read it was that's what killed their relationship. And Naito was so pissed off he didn't even take his shirt off.
Yeah, Naito looks so different there. A lot of them look so Okada doesn't even look the same because he's young. He hasn't even gone on his excursion to TNA yet. So
he didn't become Okado. God.
I just recently, 2 weeks ago, I just watched Okada against Naito from 2007 when they were both young boys. That was incredible. Black tights, black boots, black hair.
Yeah.
Both of them.
I watched one of the ones, I think it was 01, that Eric had put up. Because it wasn't on New Japan World or whatever, and him and Goto and Okada just doesn't even look anywhere near this. When everybody says they had no idea Okada was going to become what he became.
You would have no clue what you're looking at if you didn't know it was him.
Wow.
You say 2001? Jesus. how old was he? 15?
Yeah.
Because
What happened?
yeah, because I was about to say, isn't he what, like 28 now? 28, 29?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's 27. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Oh, whoa.
Yeah, 3-time IWGP champ at 27.
I was about to say, because 2001, that's almost 14 years. Wait, that'd make him 13.
I don't know. Maybe the date was wrong, but it was one of those.
That's it. Oh, yeah.
It might have been 03, actually. Never mind. I don't. Yeah.
Okay. That's not as weird. But yeah, I never would have thought Okado would be a multiple-time heavyweight champion. Okay, you figure, look at the gold mine TNA was sitting on with some of the wrestlers they got there. Damn.
Oh, yes. Let's not go down that. We could be here a while.
Especially AJ. I mean, shit.
Yes.
Like, he's like king of the world.
But you know what, though? AJ owes what he's doing right now to that last year in TNA, because he would have never developed that lone wolf character that he has now without the stupid aces and eights and all that. So, as dumb as that was, it worked for AJ.
He plays it perfectly. Like that Fale match, I was like, holy shit, he's vicious.
Yeah, and the crowd loves him. So the thing is, like, whenever he turns and is done with the Bullet Club, he's going to be just mega.
Yeah, because he's
yeah,
like...
they cheer him now. Even though they cheer him now, he yells at the crowd, like, to try to turn himself heel during the match.
Yeah.
They were the one match they were chanting his name, and like, AJ, and he just turned to the crowd, I know who I am, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, he really reminds me of kind of like the same, kind of like the Kevin Nash, like they cheer him because even though he's a heel, they think he's cool. But unlike Kevin Nash, he doesn't act like he knows he's cool or tears his quad. Which still...
Or fakes that he tore his quad.
Well, yeah, no, that was still the highlight of WrestleMania 31, him faking his quad. I wish JP Prag was he the one that did? No, he wasn't the one who did hidden highlights. Whoever did hidden highlights.
That was,
Prag did the financial stuff.
No, it was Prag and the other guy. They did it together, remember?
Okay. Yeah. Because I thought Prag was in it. God,
then Prag would go on and do the lawyer stuff for Randall whenever he wanted it.
Oh yeah. Randall. Come back, Randall.
Alright, so that pretty much, we went off on a bunch of different tangents there, but that wraps up our G1 talk. Sadly, all good things have to come to an end at one point, as the old saying goes, but we got a lot to look forward to now. You've got at least 3 solid months of good events that are going to happen, Destruction, Kings of Pro Wrestling, Power Struggle, all that going into the Tag League. So it'll be interesting what... We kind of know some of them, the Makabe and Ishii, the Shibata Naito. It'll be interesting to see if Goto goes right for Okada, or if Okada's going to have one of his... either Anderson or Nagata first. And, and whatever they do with Okada, if it's AJ first, or...
All right. Well, we know the main feud that everybody looks forward to is, Hanma versus Gravity, and then Yano versus the Rules. So,
All right, I want to thank you so much, Tom, for being on, man. You are welcome back anytime.
Thanks, man.
And Robert, of course.
Hell yeah, it was a pleasure being here. I love talking New Japan. Now I have to be at work in 5 hours.
Sorry about that.
It's all good. Hey, I'm young. I'll last.
I slept for 3 hours and then had to go to work for 6 this morning. So.
Oh man! Don't tell me you're going to do the same thing for the Tag League too.
I'm gonna try. I don't know the Tag League though. I might just pass out of boredom if they.
Yeah. Like last year, me and my buddies, we were going to sit down and do the Tag League. Like we tried to do the G1, and then we were just, finals and holidays and everything. We're like, you know what?
Does the Tag League, is it like, what I mean, because the Super Juniors, like I tried to do it, and I kept up with most of it, and it was actually pretty good. But like, those are singles matches, you know. New Japan has their thing with tag matches, and they can all run into like a formula sometimes. Like, do those tag league things, do they wind up being good, or what do you think, Tom? You still
the tag league, like, it's one of those cross that bridge when you get there because you're in between, like, King of Wrestling, Power Struggle, and then you're waiting for the Dome. It's like, sometimes hard to get up for it, but
right.
We'll see. I'm talking about putting, like, the Briscoes in it this year, so, you know, spicing it up.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd definitely go for that. Do they mix the juniors and heavyweights for that, or is it just heavyweight tags?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd put them in heavyweights if I were me.
Yeah, I mean, if we have for the Briscoes, I would definitely put in heavyweights. I mean, to me, I think really they should just, honestly, if I were New Japan, you can't come up with a bunch of different tag teams. I would end the separation between the juniors and the heavyweights and just have that be your big tag division. I don't see what the big deal is, honestly.
You know, you got enough junior teams now that you can do it. But the one thing I would do now is Kushida. I would put Kushida and Liger together, the legend and then the face of the junior division now.
Yeah.
Make an interesting team.
Yeah, because Liger and Tiger Mask bores me to death.
It doesn't do anything for me. Yeah, exactly.
It's sad, but I'm kind of glad Tiger Mask got hurt, because he was the, you know,
he's Tiger Mask 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, see, it always used to confuse me because they'd be like, Tiger Mask. I'm like, oh, is this the original one? Jesus.
These guys have been at it for over 20 years now.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought Tiger Mask 4 was still kind of fresh.
No, he's been in. I think I did the math when I was doing the Super. He's been in 14 consecutive Best of Super Juniors.
So you're saying we need Tiger Mask 5?
I'm just good without Tiger Mask for a while.
You know, I named my kitten after Black Tiger, so yeah, because I couldn't name him after Tiger Masks. My mom told me that's a really stupid name.
Yeah, don't name your cat Tiger Mask.
Well, he's Black Tiger instead, so it's all good.
It's good enough. All right, so
on that note, hey,
now that we've officially passed the 2 hour mark on this thing. All right, we will be back on Thursday previewing Takeover Brooklyn, which features Jushin Thunder Liger, and he already has a shirt. It says One Night Only, has Liger on the front.
No shit.
You can go find it on various Facebook groups or the internet or whatever. What did you guys think of the ROH thing? They're going to wrestle in Japan this year. It seemed like, to me, it was more like ROH and New Japan getting out in the front and being like, just letting you know this partnership is not going anywhere. Delirious actually spoke English.
Or does he speak other languages?
Well, he didn't speak his, can't understand you speak. Yeah, but are you excited now? ROH doing a show in Japan?
Oh, that is so cool. Sorry, I just found that Liger shirt. That is awesome. I might buy that shit. But anyway, speaking of, okay, so ROH in Japan, yay. I barely watch ROH. I tried. I really did. But yeah, I mean, that's cool for them, solidifying their New Japan relationship, since I'm sure some people, myself included, were like, oh boy, if Liger's coming to work in NXT, well, what if we got everybody else? Oh.
And there's still nothing that says they can't do one-offs or whatever. I just think that the whole people thinking we're all of a sudden going to see a bunch of people from New Japan in NXT of all places, not happening.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's not even where all the big bucks are made. I mean, look at Raw.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, they got 3 hours of sponsorships, including chicken fries.
What do you think, Tom?
Or which one? The ROH in Japan?
The ROH in Japan, yeah.
It'll be interesting. You know, I don't know. Does ROH have enough deep? Well, I guess they do now. Strong, Lethal, Elgin will be a big star now. It'll be interesting. You know, are they going to do one show, or are they going to do like a whole tour? Like, you know, a lot of possibilities. I just want to see Roderick Strong in New Japan right now.
No, agreed on that one.
Yeah, you know, when people are speculating, is this an addition to what we've already seen, those two shows that they usually do in New Japan? You know, War of the Worlds and what was the other one, Sean? Global Wars, yes. Is this an addition, or are they going to stop that partnership and they're going to go over? You know, there's a lot of answers that we don't have yet, but, you know, they'll come soon enough. But this is exciting. Ring of Honor definitely deserves to showcase their, you know, their product over in Japan. I think it's a wise idea to do it up and close and personal since they have done so many cross-promotion shows.
Right. Well, yeah, so we'll be back on Thursday previewing SummerSlam, previewing TakeOver, doing all the stuff we normally do. Next time we see New Japan. Now, I'll probably start doing like little mini podcasts on the house shows and stuff like that. By myself, because I'm sure Paul and Gary don't want to sit there and watch house shows. Gary's sitting there trying to be silent, but I know he's agreeing.
Yeah, no, you got it, Sean. Don't worry.
So, yeah, but the next time we'll see you for that will be Destruction, sometime in September, probably more towards the back half. But all right, guys, for Tom, for Robert, for Gary. See you guys later.
Have a good one.
I like tacos.